if you're not playing Underpunks. It is an incredibly deep and living world. You get to influence how the world actually changes. What happens in the world is completely up to you. Every single action you take in the game has an influence on the world itself, and you'll see that change over time. It is a text-based game. It's also an idle game, so it's something you play on your mobile, and we have anything from a 10-minute timer all the way up to a 6-hour timer, depending on how you want to play the game. Welcome to an Underpunks update here in beautiful Tasmania. We have a new feature. It's currently live in the game. PvP has come to Underpunks, and it's a controversial topic for me because I'm not a big fan of putting PvP in a community-based game. But I've done something a little bit different with this one. It is a test system for PvP that we have some combat arena rooms coming to some of the shires, and I think I have some wallabies walking around me. And so what I've decided to do was just run a quick test. It's connected to the Shifting Sands. If you go north from the Shifting Sands, you will find a new area called the oil fields. In order to get into the oil fields, you're going to need some knowledge. About 4 knowledge, I think, will get you through. Otherwise, you'll need a follower from the Sand Bandit faction. Currently, that is the Sand Bandit and the Sand Bike. They'll both get you in there as well. Once you're inside the oil fields, which is on I believe I've put it on a 15, or watch yourself, Lava. I think I've put it on a 15-minute timer, and you'll be able to take 1 oil every 15 minutes, but there's a catch. The catch, of course, there's always consequences. One of them, the biggest consequences at the moment, being that we have our event running, our Christmas event, so it'll pull you away from that, because I am going to launch it at the same time. So the other catch is you need to be the last person, the last player, the only player in the oil fields in order to take oil. I'll say it again. You need to be the only player in the oil fields to take oil. That means that if you're in there with a buddy, it's not going to work. This will get around a few exploits and stuff like that. The combat's been completely stripped down, and it does not include your weapons, it does not include your armor, it doesn't look at any of that. It looks at basic skills at the moment. We will look at complicating it a little bit later. At the moment, basic skills. It's kind of like a Highlander situation. There can be only one. So if you're in there with a buddy and you've eliminated everybody else, then you're going to turn on each other. That's just the way it's going to be. And that'll help get around some people kind of owning the whole thing. You're pretty much, most of the time it's going to get down to 1 player, and then the challenger will come in, stuff like that. And depending on your time zones, you might find a little sweet spot where it's okay to just run in, get some oil and run out. There mightn't be anyone there. Or you do it during an event and do the same thing. So let's talk about the combat itself. So basically you've got to think of it like, I suppose it's a bit like sand. It's like Tatooine situation where you've got you've got these kind of indigenous sand faction who have these long-range sniper rifles. That's kind of where we're going. I may go with the jousting thing at some point, but basically you're in the middle of a sandstorm. You can't see a thing. It's your ability to run in, hit and run. So you're not actually engaging in return combat. It's more of a sniper situation. You'll pick a player, you'll attack at player, and you will target that player, and you may inflict some damage. If you take them down to 0 HP, they get eliminated from the oil field. Simple as that. There is no return damage. The return damage has to be returned by the other player on a 15-minute timer. So if you don't go to sleep in this room, you'll end up in the town hall. You could wait in the Shifting Sands, but that's sometimes up to a 6-hour timer as well. So there's a lot of factors that come into it. The actual combat stats itself, your ability to aim, your ability to stealth in, to run in, to make that surprise attack is of course dependent on your stealth. Having said that, I think it's a minimum of 50% chance anyhow, and then I think there's a maximum of 90% chance, but high stealth will certainly help you out in actually hitting someone. Once you hit someone, that player has an ability to dodge, and I believe the dodge is as normal based on your fortitude. So you may miss once you hit. So if you see the player's dodge, you know that you actually succeeded with your attack, but they dodged it. And then the amount of damage you do is based on strength. I think it's 10 plus your strength, whatever your strength is. And that is the damage you do. And I think that maxes out at 30 damage as well. So you're not going to do any one-shots in there. It's not going to take into account any of your weapons. This is a blind, folded battle, if you like, and you're pretty much just going to be running in, seeing if you can attack someone, see if you can eliminate someone, and then hopefully be the last person standing. Take some oil every 15 minutes until someone else comes back in. The 15 minutes, of course, is to counter the fact that some of the other timers around you are quite a lot longer, and that they'll be sent to the town hall, so they'll have to come through at least a 1 hour timer at some point. So you'll get a chance to take your oil once you get that elimination done. Like I said before, people will be doing other things. That's about it. We'll make some complications. There is a few other features for the sand bike and the sand knight. The sand bike can skip the shifting sands completely. There is I think you'll be using a command command for that. The details will be on the Discord if you're not playing Underpunks. It is an incredibly deep and living world. You get to influence how the world actually changes. What happens in the world is completely up to you. Every single action you take in the game has an influence on the world itself, and you'll see that change over time. It is a text-based game. It's also an idle game, so it's something you play on your mobile, and we have anything from a 10-minute timer all the way up to a 6-hour timer, depending on how you want to play the game. Hope you enjoy the update. Links in the description for all of the invite links where you can come through many of our player-owned shires. And if you'd like to support this video or support the game, please have a look at the first link in the description, which goes straight to the Patreon, which is 100% of the wage that I take as a developer of Underpunks comes from that. No commissions come from NFTs or anything like that. Everything about creating this game for me comes directly from my supporters. So thanks for watching.
Sorry to interrupt your magnificent monologue or whatever you were doing, but do you want to have fun? I bet you do! You like role-playing games, you like throwing dice on the board and make critical hit to a filthy monster to look his shiny treasure? I bet you do! You want to be an intelligent rat in an apocalyptic future, and you want to be part of the story, even writing the next chapter of the lore. Do you want to be a lord, a squire, a god, a thief, a spy, or even a monk rat? Yes, you do! So, join Underpunks, a unique game that mixes old-school RPG and digital assets known as NFTs. Yes, be the rat you always wanted to be. Write your story with us. I'll bet you have fun.